Can anybody tell me what this is? What's that from? Ha! Ha! Anyways, you got these. You got little bars of soap. I got a few of them. And I'm going to do a foolhardy try at making melt this down and make a mold. I mean, this is what I got. Oh, no. I got this thing full. And I got some upstairs. And another one I tried to melt with the torch, see what it would do. So the plan is to cut these in little pieces, put them in here, heat it up, melt them down, pour them in a mold. Now the mold, I got the plexiglass that I've had for a year or two. And I cut these out, and I'm going to use a heat gun, and I'm going to, I want to make it about as wide as a bar of soap and bend it, and I'm going to bend this side, then it's going to sit on here like this, and I could probably tape it or use some silicone, something like that, and just pour the mold in there and let it solidify, and then cut it up. So I think I got more than I can always melt it down again and pour them in a mold. So let me heat this up. I like heat guns. These things are awesome for all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff, man. It ain't gonna take long, but so I'll heat this up. All right, there we go. That's pretty good, right? Let's put it down here so it cools. I could run it under water, and it'll cool it off faster. All right, after about a half an hour of chopping that stuff up, I got it done. Look at that. Ew. So let's take it upstairs, put it on the stove. We'll add a little bit of water in there because you got to cook it down. So let's get on with that. All right, I'm going to put about 16 ounces in there. That should be enough, huh? High. Put it on high. Yeah, probably not on high. Probably on medium, huh? Mead. And get a mixing spoon or something, huh? That should work. All right. Oh, check it out. It's breaking down pretty good. I'll put a little bit more water in there. Turn the heat up. I see in about 20 minutes it should be done, huh? All right, we're pretty much down to where I want it. That's good enough. That's going to take up a heck of a lot of my mold. And then I'm going to have to, I don't know. I'll probably have to keep it up here, let that cool off, and pop it out of the mold real quick, come up and throw some more of this stuff in there. I don't know. So I'll go down there and put this in the mold. Let's check that out, huh? Oh yeah, I'm going to get a lot out of this sucker. I could tell you. I should have used a spoon, huh? Man, that is about the most hillbilly-ish thing I've ever did. Maybe! Alright. This, I'll probably just reheat it, or I could pop that out and make one giant bar of soap and cut it out of there, but I'm going to do it like this. I'll cut bars of soap because get your hand wrapped around that big thing, no, it ain't going to work. Alright, I'll let this solidify. I should take it outside and put it outside because it's like 50 degrees out. That'll work. So let's take it outside and I'll keep that warm and we'll figure something out. Alright, so I'm cooked down to, or I actually, whatever I had left over, the other stuff in the mold is still drying. I'm going to take it out of the mold and cut it into the bar so it'll dry a little faster. This is what was left over. I tried to mold it out on some parchment paper. It wasn't having it. I just let it cool off, then I would mold it into a big, long, flattened snake, and it wasn't working. So I cut it up and put it in here. I have another idea. What I want to do with it is I want to put it in a brownie pan. Probably not all of it. Maybe all of it. I don't know. I'm going to cook it down again. I'm going to put it in here. That way I can probably get some nice even bars, you know? So I'm going to cook this down, and here we go again. I put a little bit too much water in it, but it mixed up much better this time. I turned the heat down a little. It's still. So I'm going to boil off some water, and then I'll put it in the pan. Here in a minute. Yeah, that melted a lot better. So let's get on with that. There it is. My pot's filling up over there, drying off. Or, not drying off, but... So, here's what I got. I could have used a little bit more. These bars are going to be a little bit thin, huh? So, I will let this dry. I'll get it as flat as I can. I'll let it dry. And then I'll pop it out. I'll cut it into bars, then it'll dry quicker. So it doesn't have to dry all the way, this part would take longer to dry. So. Alright. My soap brownies are all done. I kind of brought the corners in. Didn't want sharp corners, I guess. I don't know. So I'll let it dry, and I gotta wash this. I'll just leave it. So, I'll let this dry, and we'll pop it out and cut it up. Now, to see how big of a fail it has been, this has been drying for about a week. This one, just a couple of hours. And let's see how big of a fail it was. It's sticking to this side a little. There it goes. All right. That's a giant bar of soap. So I cut it down into some manageable pieces. It's still a little wet right here, probably because didn't go through that. So a bar of soap is about right here, huh? Here's one. Turn it over. There's two. Yeah, still a little wet. So we got 3, 4, and 5. All right, there's 2, 6 and 7. I got 7 out of that. Little pieces, I ain't worried about that. Would I use this again? I don't know. Let's put it right here for now. Let's see if this pops out any easier. Uh-oh. I don't think so. I probably need to let it dry a little, and it'll shrink off to the edges, and then it'll probably pop out a little bit easier. I could probably put slits in there. Yeah, let me put the cuts in there. 1. Yeah, a little bit bigger, huh? There we go. These are actually big. These will be bigger, definitely. All right, so I'll just leave these set, and they'll dry out a little bit better. These need to be drying a little bit longer too. It's been a week, and it's been a couple of hours. So I'll see you in a while. All right, let's turn this off. I've had this down here for a week. This fan blowing on them, drying them out. You can see how much they dried out. These, I probably didn't even have to have a fan. I just put a fan on it to help it dry. They're pretty darn solid. They got sharp corners. You get cut yourself. No. I could have just left them like this, or just put them somewhere and they would have been dried. Let's see what this looks like on the other side. It's still a little bit, you can see, just a little bit wet. I could just set them like this. They pop right out. And I like these bars better than those. This is a little bit bigger. So I figure if you let this set for about another day, just out, you don't have to have a fan on it, you got yourself some soap. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bars. out of those. I guess I'll just keep going with them. You know, just keep collecting little slivers of bars and throw them in there. It only takes a few, it takes probably a half an hour to cut them up. Well, 45 minutes to cut them up, put them in a pot, boil them down, put them in here, bam, you got yourself. It's a lot of soap that's thrown away. You got to figure how long did it take me to save those. So there you go. That's, I made some bars of soap. That's not bad at all. This one I didn't, you could see I didn't cook it down enough. But, oh well. That works. They cooked them down better than that. So there you go. I'm going to go clean this up and I guess use it for the next time. I scrape the bottom of it with the knife. So she probably don't want to use this no more. I'm messing stuff up. Alright, we'll see you in the next one.